Here's your wrestling news for February 25th, 2023, and we're starting with Frankie Kazarian, who parted ways with AEW to join Impact last year, feeling that his talents were not being appreciated as part of Tony Khan's company. Last night, Kazarian defeated Khan at Impact's No Surrender event, and Frankie's former tag partner was around to watch the show. Sean Ross Sapp reports that Scorpio Sky, who as far as we know is still with AEW, was at the pay-per-view event. It was claimed that Sky was just visiting Impact to see old friends, though we do know that despite being cleared to wrestle for months, the former TNT champion hasn't been on AEW TV since last summer. Sky and Kazarian were the first AEW World Tag Team Champions, winning the gold in October 2019, and the former will have been able to watch Kaz be a featured player on Impact's roster. It was also stated that ROH veteran Sledge was in attendance for the show, and that the ROH alum who was with the company when it was bought from Tony Khan has gotten in insane shape this year. The report added that, like Sky, sources said that Sledge was just visiting the area he is local to, but we can't rule out him and Sky being Impact Wrestling bound in the future. At WrestleMania, Roman Reigns will defend the undisputed WWE Universal Championship against Cody Rhodes in one of the biggest matches in the careers of both men. For Reigns, this April will mark his 7th WrestleMania main event, the first for Rhodes, and many believe this match will mark his incredible reign as champion come to an end. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Meltzer explained that even if Reigns' run as champion does end in Los Angeles, he will still be considered the very top star in the company. It was stressed that the Rhodes storyline dictates that he has to win the title at some point, and said that WWE is no longer in a situation where they can keep the title on Reigns for yet another year in the hopes of a title match at WrestleMania 40 with The Rock. For many wrestlers, becoming world champion is a sign that you've made it as one of the top names in your company, if not wrestling entirely, and while Roman Reigns has dominated for over 900 days, he doesn't need any gold to be the biggest thing going today. Next month, WWE 2K23 will launch for various consoles, and there's been a lot of talk about the ratings in the games. As you'd expect, Roman Reigns is ranked very high for the new game, and in fact, his 99 rating is the highest ranking for any superstar in any 2K game that's used the ranking system. Reacting to his ranking on Instagram, the undisputed WWE Universal Champion gave a yes sir, as the head of the table has another accolade to add to his Hall of Fame-worthy career. This week, the Wrestling Observer newsletter shared their annual awards, as voted for by the website's subscribers. One of the categories that fans voted on was for the worst match of 2022, and the latest unlucky recipient is the impromptu match at WrestleMania 38 between Pat McAfee and Mr. McMahon. We'll be the first to admit that the match is no Shawn Michaels versus The Undertaker, and on Twitter, McAfee reacted to his win, stating, "My brain may have been used during the planning of all this, so I appreciate the award, obviously. I'm not a movie guy, I didn't watch shows, I don't play video games. From an entertainment standpoint, football and wrestling are literally the only two things I've ever consistently watched and loved for my whole life. Cheers to you all, I'll remember that night in Jerry World forever." After dispatching of Austin Theory in an entertaining match, McAfee lost to McMahon thanks to Theory's interference, in what is the chairman's sole WrestleMania victory. Post-match, McMahon, Theory, and McAfee would all be on the receiving end of Stone Cold Stunners, and this week's award won't stop Pat from being thrilled with his WrestleMania in-ring debut. Over the past 2 months, we've seen several changes made behind the scenes in WWE following the return of Vince McMahon. Some individuals, such as Stephanie McMahon, chose to step away from WWE, but one person's exit this month wasn't their choice at all. According to a report from Sean Ross Sapp behind Fightful's paywall, WWE fired their SVP of Talent Operations and Strategy, James Kimball, and his termination was decided with immediate effect last week. The report added that it was an HR violation that led to Kimball being fired, but didn't go into any further details as to what transpired. Kimball had been with WWE for 2 years and had been a key part of the NIL program, and spent a decade with the UFC before joining the wrestling promotion. Unlike other departures over the past few years, this has nothing to do with budget cuts, and he'll now have to find work outside of the biggest wrestling promotion in the world. Now, Matt Riddle has been off TV since December after being written off with an attack from the Bloodline, which was just to cover Riddle violating the wellness policy. As we previously reported, Riddle hasn't been factored into any WrestleMania plans, and it may be a long time to come before we see him back on TV. Ringside News was told by a tenured member of WWE's creative team that Matt Riddle's name will not be discussed by creative until Talent Relations informs them that the original Bro is once again a character they can pitch for. Since being suspended, Riddle has completed a stint in rehab and has been frequently seen with his girlfriend Misha Montana, who has stated that judgmental wrestling fans have affected her career as an adult film actress. Riddle was on the cusp of a main event push last year, but controversy has continued to haunt the former US champion, and who knows when we'll see the King of Bros back on TV. And we're ending today with Brock Lesnar, who will seemingly be facing Omos at WrestleMania 39, but that wasn't always the plan. In the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer reported that WWE had a different plan for Lesnar originally, which changed in the last week or two, but said that Brock's return to Raw next week to answer Omos's challenge could be a swerve. Meltzer stressed that despite what was being reported last December, Lesnar vs. Gunther was never WWE's plan for WrestleMania, and we'll have to wait until Raw to get answers as to what the direction is for the former Universal Champion this April.